What is up, world? It's your boy Ton, and you are listening to the Wonton Wealth Podcast. Here, I'm going to unravel anything and everything commercial real estate related. And more importantly, we're going to add abundant value. So if you're ready, buckle up your eardrums. Welcome back, people. Today we are going to be talking about what's called an OM, or Offering Memorandum. So when we're looking to acquire properties, we're going to run to OMs a lot. Firstly, when we're purchasing properties, we're going to have to evaluate those properties, right? Or else, you don't just want to go out nilly-willy buying whatever looks good. That's going to be a terrible investment. So when we're looking at properties, there's two potential methods of finding deals. One, you're going to have deals that are on market, which are already on the MLS, listed by brokers and realtors, and you might find deals that are off market where you go to the seller directly. So when you go to a seller directly, info on these can vary a lot. Some owners are going to be super organized, and some, well, not so much. They might just be all over the place with shit everywhere. So in that case, you're going to have to play detective and piece all the information together yourself. But once again, when you're looking at properties that are on market, a lot of times these brokerage firms will give you the offering memorandum. They're going to do all the detective work for you. So let's talk about the OM in a little bit more detail. An OM is pretty much like a brochure on a property. The brokers are going to gather all the information on a particular property for you, and they're going to package it up in something that's nice, shiny, fancy, and this is your OM. It's like a sales brochure. It's going to highlight all the cool things about the property. A lot of times, you're not going to see many things, if any, negative things about the property in the OM at all. So you guys have to remember, trust but verify. Now, the OM is your comprehensive property overview. Sometimes you might run into brokers who are going to ask you to sign an NDA, which stands for non-disclosure agreement, or a CA, which is a confidentiality agreement, in order to get more details about the property. Sometimes you're going to get the brochure with just, demographic information and basic overview of the property, and it won't highlight any of the financial details. So that's when the broker is going to come in and say, hey, if you want some financials on this, if you want to look at the numbers, you're going to have to sign this NDA or CA in order for us to release that information. And they do this in order to keep the property secret safe and the owner's information safe, because they don't want you going around babbling all this info all over town and giving maybe their competitor information that they're not privy to. So let's break it down in a little bit more detail. Typically, when you look at an OM, you're going to have roughly 5 sections. And almost always, the first section is going to be the executive summary. This is going to be your quick look at the deal. It's going to highlight opportunities to enhance the property's value, past upgrades that the previous owners or the current owners have done, and the costs associated with those upgrades. Any rental successes, it might give you an idea of what type of tenants are in there already. And it's also going to highlight some key market factors like demographics and the local advantages of this particular property. Then it'll probably go into a section describing the property. So this section we're going to call the property description section. Here you're going to find all the crucial property specifics. You got where it's located, you got what year it was constructed, the size of the building, and all the features that are associated with the building itself. It might include details like property staff or fees, any taxes, who's responsible for utilities, the shape of the units or the size of the units, and it might give you a floor plan or a site layout. Sometimes you might even see nearby amenities or a map of, some of the nearby attractions. Next, you'll probably see something that looks at the overview of the market, or maybe even a location analysis. It's going to give you the context of the property's market, covering the MSA or the metropolitan area, maybe even the submarket and the neighborhood in general. It's also going to look at the infrastructure and transportation options and the demographics and economic analysis. You might even also see vehicle traffic data or labor data. And next is the juiciest part of the OM. This is where it talks about the financial analysis of the property. This is where the brokers are going to underwrite some of their numbers to show you what the property is bringing in on an NOI basis or net operating income basis. They're going to give you probably a 1-year pro forma, maybe even a 5 to 10 year projection. There's a caveat on this section here. It's super important for you to create your own financial model and your own pro forma by looking at the rent roll and the T12 or the trailing 12-month financial statements. This way you can figure out if those numbers are true and underwrite them yourself. And in this financial analysis section, you'll probably even see the rent rolls for the tenants. And the rent rolls is going to tell you the lease start date, the expiration date, what type of lease it is, and if the tenants have any options to renew or any other anomaly that's spelled out in that tenant's particular lease. And lastly, you're probably going to see a section where it's going to highlight the tenants that are within the building. This section is going to give you a summary of all the major tenants. It might even go into detail with the smaller tenants, and it's going to give you information on their businesses, their operation durations, any accolades they have, and possibly even a lease summary for each of these tenants. And that is my overview of an offering memorandum. This is crucial when it comes to acquiring commercial real estate. Once again, reminding you that if you are looking at an off-market property, you're probably not going to have an OM and you're going to have to dig for that information yourself. Either way, you're going to have to do your homework, verify the details. Once again, trust but verify. Cheers. One time out. And that's a wrap. If you've made it this far, that means you've listened to the entire episode, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening from. And if you've learned something or found it useful, share it with one of your homies. And if you want to get in touch with me, I'm pretty active on IG. My handle is pro_TANH. Reach out, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, or what you want to hear about in the future. I'm here to tailor this to you. Until next time.